Hello everyone, hello grade 10. Today we're doing factorization. So you can invite your friends, your classmates. The class has started. Let's get started, all right? Okay, so let's get started. I hope I can be heard. I hope you can see my screen clearly. Let me just increase it a bit. All right. I hope it's visible enough. All right. So I will explain about grouping the terms. So we're gonna group terms based on the factors. So we're gonna group them together. Then after that, you're gonna take the common factor. So here I have 4m minus 4n plus am minus an. All right. So now we have to categorize them and group them together. So what we'll do here, we'll group these two together and group these two together. So we'll have open brackets 4m minus 4n close brackets, then we'll say plus am minus an. All right, close brackets. So as you can see here, we have a common factor. What is our common factor? Our common factor is 4. And here we have our common factor, which is a. So now we're taking our common factor, which is 4 into, then we'll be left with m minus n, then plus, then here we take our common factor, which is a, and we'll be left with m minus n, right? So then at this stage, remember, we also have our common factor at this stage. Can you guess what is our common factor? Our common factor here is m minus n and also m minus n. So we have, on this term we have a minus n, and on this term we have m minus n. So that is our common factor. So now we're taking our common factor, which is m minus n. M minus n is our common factor. Then we'll be left here with 4. Here we'll be left with 4. Then plus, we'll be left with a on this side. We're left with a. So we have fully factorized this expression. We have fully factorized it. So we're given 4 terms, that is 4m minus 4n plus am minus an. Then we categorize them. So we put 4m minus 4n together and am minus an together. Then from there we took out our common factor. Our common factor here was 4. We took out 4 as our common factor and we were left with m minus n. Then on the next term we took our common factor, which is a, and we're left with m minus n. Then now, as you can notice, we have another common factor again, which is m minus n. So now we took out m minus n and we were left with 4 plus a. So this is fully factorized. All right, now I'm gonna give you only 3 minutes to factorize this expression. Here we have 3x. We have 3xy. We have 3xy, 3xy plus 6xz minus 5y squared minus 5y squared minus 5y squared minus 10yz. All right. Okay. So here we have this expression. It's an expression because there is no equal sign. It's an expression because there is no equal sign. So we have this expression 3xy plus 6xz minus 5y squared minus 10yz. All right, now let's get started. So remember, the first step is to group them together. So all right, remember here we have 3 and 6. 3 and 6, they are together, and we have x, y, and xz. So we're gonna group these two together. So we'll have 3xy plus 6xz, right? Close brackets plus, then we have open brackets negative 5y squared, negative 5y squared y squared minus 10yz. All right, so here we didn't do anything, we just put them in brackets, inside brackets together. We didn't do anything. So now let's change the sign here. So remember, this 10 must be negative, and also this 5 must be negative. So we can change this. Instead of plus here, we can have minus here, right? And remove this minus. And here we have a plus. Remember, when you say a negative multiplied by a positive will give us negative 10, and also a negative multiplied by a positive will give us a negative 5, right? Okay, so we've grouped these together. Now let's start to factorize. Alright, so now we have a common factor then. The common factor here is 3x. 3x is our common factor. Then we open brackets. Then we'll be left with y. We'll be left with y plus 2z. Y plus 2z. Alright. Here, so we're factorizing. We have here 3x multiplied by y. We have 3xy. Then we have 3x multiplied by 2z. We have 6xz. Then minus. So we take out a common factor. Minus 5y. Minus 5y, right? Then open brackets. Then we'll be left with y plus 2z. Alright, here let me explain. So we are taking out a common factor. Remember, 5 goes to 5 once, and 5 goes to 10 2 times, right? So we took out 5. Then y, there's y here and there's y here. So when you took out y, we'll be left with y here, and you left with 2z here. I hope you are following. Then now, remember, as you can see, we have a common factor here. So our common factor is y plus 2z. So we have y plus 2z. And here we have y plus 2z. So y plus 2z is our common factor. So we take out our common factor. Y plus 2z is our common factor. Then we are left with, when we took out y plus 2z, we'll be left with 3x. We'll be left with 3x plus, 3x minus 5y minus 5y minus 5y. So we have fully factorized this expression. Alright, so what I want you to do, I'm gonna give you just a short exercise. I'm gonna give an exercise. Alright, so I want to do this exercise. Here I have I hope I'm still being heard. So I have m squared. I have m squared, right? Minus n squared, minus n squared, plus pm minus pn. All right, So what I want you to do, I want you to factorize this expression fully. So we have m squared minus n squared plus pm minus pn. Factorize fully this expression. So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to do this exercise. Just go through this. Okay, let me explain again. First step, you have to group them. So I group these two together, and I grouped these two together. That is, I put them inside the brackets here. Then I took out the common factor. Our common factor on this term is 4. Then our common factor here is a. On the second term is a. So once I took out the common factor, I noticed that there's also another common factor, which is m minus n, and here we have m minus n. So I took out our common factor, in this case is m minus n. Then I was left with 4 plus a, right? So the same applies here. I have to group them together. I put these two together inside brackets, and I put also these two together inside brackets. Remember how I explained here? Then from there, I took out the common factor 3x, right? And I was left with y plus 2z, and here I took the common factor 5y, and I was left with y plus 2z. Then now I noticed that there's another common factor. Our common factor is y plus 2z, so I took out y plus 2z, I put it inside the bracket. Then I was left with 3x minus 5y. So now I want you to do the same thing. Just follow the same procedure and factorize this expression: m squared minus n squared plus pm minus pn. Okay, your time starts now. I'm giving 2 minutes, so by 8:30 you should be done. All right, your time is up. So let me do the corrections here. We have m squared minus n squared plus pm minus pn. All right, so we have to group them together first, put them inside brackets so that you don't get confused. So it's gonna be m squared gonna be m squared minus n squared minus n squared minus n squared, put them inside brackets, plus pm minus pn, close brackets. Then now let's look for common factor. Right here we have our common factor here. So on the left hand side we have we have m squared minus n squared n squared. Then plus, here we have a common factor in this case, which is p. We have a common factor which is p. So we have p into m minus n, close brackets. All right, now we need to factorize this difference of two squares. So here we'll have m minus n into m plus n, right? And then plus p into m minus n. All right, so here on the third step you can see that we have a common factor. Our common factor is m minus n, because we have m minus n on this side. On in this first term we have m minus n, then on the second term we have m minus n. So now we have to take out our common factor, which is m minus n, right? Then we close the brackets. Then now we'll be left with m plus n. So we'll be left with m plus n, right? Then we have again p plus p. So this will be the final answer. So it's m minus n into m plus n plus p. So with this one we have fully factorized it. I hope you got it right. So if you didn't get it right, make sure that you go through number 1, example 1, go through example 2, and also go through again example 3. So now we're gonna do number 4. We have here minus 5ap. We have a squared. We have a squared minus 5ap. A squared minus 5ap plus 15bp plus 15bp minus 9b squared. 9 minus 9b squared. Okay, factorize fully. So the first step, you need to group them together. So you need to group them together. So I'm gonna give you another 3 minutes. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes with this one. Just try to do it by yourself and see if you are fully following. Okay, your time starts now. So by 8:40 you should be done. Remember to go through our previous examples. So here we had 4m minus 4n and plus 5m minus an. Then we grouped them. We didn't change anything, we just grouped them together. So we grouped the first two, 4m minus 4n, we grouped them together as you can see on the first step, and we grouped am minus nn together as you can see here. Then from there we notice that we have a common factor on the first term. See, on this first term we have a common factor. What is our common factor? Is 4. Is 4 our common factor in the first term. Then on the second term our common factor is a, right? Then from there on this step we can notice that we have another common factor here. We have m minus n. M minus n is a common factor, so we took out the common factor m minus n. Then on the first term we're left with 4, which is here, and also on the second term we're left with a, which is here. So we have fully factorized this one. Then for number 2, we have here 3xy plus 6xz minus 5y squared minus 10yz. So we grouped them together. We didn't change it, we just grouped them together and grouped these two together, right? So here what we did here, remember, so the 5 was a negative, so we just open brackets and put a negative here. Then the 10 was a negative, so we just put a plus here, so that a negative multiplied by a positive will give this negative 10. So that's what we did here. So I hope we are not confused. So then now we have to take the common factor. In this case the common factor is 3x. 3 goes to 3 and 3 goes to 6, right? Now we have dealt with the numerical coefficients. Now let's go to the variables. So we have x here and we have x here. That's why we took our common factor as 3x. So when you take out 3x, here, we'll be left with y. Then when you take out 3x on the second term, we'll be left with 2z. Remember, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and xz divided by x will cancel x and we're left with z, right? So now let's go to the third term. So we took out our common factor. In this case, our common factor for numerical values, 5 goes to 5 and 5 goes to 10, so we took out 5. Right now we notice that there's a y here and there's a y here, so now we take out a single y. Then here we'll be left with a y, and here we'll be left with z, so that's why I have 2z. Then from there we notice that again here we have our common factor. Our common factor on step number 2 is y plus 2z, so we took out our common factor y plus 2z, and we are left on the first term with 3x, and on the second term with minus 5y. So I hope you're following. So, and this one explains itself. Just follow the same procedure. So now we have to solve for a squared minus 5ap plus 15bp minus 9b squared. So I'm just giving you extra 2 minutes So by 8:43 you should be done. I'm giving extra 2 minutes because I believe that you were listening to me meanwhile I was explaining. Okay, so 2 minutes remaining. All right, I believe we are done now. Okay, let's do the corrections. Okay, here we have a squared minus 5ap plus 15bp minus 9b squared. Okay, now we have to group these two together and group these two together. So here we'll have open brackets a squared, open brackets a squared minus 5ap, group them together, then plus open brackets 15bp minus 9b squared, 9b squared. So here we did not change anything, we just group them together. All right, now the second step now is to look for the common factor. That is our second step. You look for the common factor. So on the first term, our common factor is a. So we have a into a minus 5p, close brackets, then plus, then what is our common factor here? What is our common factor? So here we have, so we start with the numerical values. We have 3 goes to 15 and 3 goes to 9. So we'll have 3 into, then we're gonna left with what we're gonna left with here. So here we're gonna left with 5. We're gonna left with 5. So our common factor in numerical value is 3. Then the variables is gonna be p. So gonna be 3p. Then we're gonna left with 5b. 5b. Now we're gonna left with 5p. Our common factor is 3b. So we're gonna left with 5p minus 3. 5p minus 3b, right? Then we close the bracket. So here we're left with 5p minus 3b, then we close the brackets. All right, so all right, so here as you can see, here we have a squared minus 5ap plus 15bp then minus 9b squared. So here we have to group first the difference of two squares. So we have to group the difference of two squares first. We have a squared, right? Then minus 9b squared, so we're grouping together the difference of two squares, minus 9b squared, right? Then now I'm grouping them together, then we'll be left with plus minus 5ap, right? Then plus 15bp plus 15 bp, close brackets. So now let's factorize. So when you factorize here, we'll be left with, all right, let's just write the first term as it is. A squared minus 9b squared minus 9b squared, all right. So then now, so here we'll have a negative, a positive multiplied by negative is gonna be a negative. So here we'll have a negative, right? Then we remove this one. Then here we have a negative again. So that, remember, a negative 5, a negative times positive 5 is going to give you negative 5. Here, a negative times a negative 15 is going to give us positive 15. That's why I have negative here. So here, minus into, now let's take our common factor. Our common factor here, we have 5, and 5 goes in 15 3 times. So we're going to have 5 as our common factor, minus 5 as our common factor. Then p is also our common factor, so it's going to be minus 5p into minus 5p into, so here we'll be left with a, right, minus 3b. We're going to be left with a minus 3b. Then now let's factorize fully now. So now we're factorizing the difference of two squares, this one. So it's gonna be a minus 3b into a plus 3b, right? Then plus, minus 5p into a minus 3b, close brackets. So now what is our common factor? Here we have our common factor here. So our common factor is a minus b. So we take out a minus 3b as our common factor. A minus 3b is our common factor. Then we're going to be left with a plus 3b. We're going to be left with a plus 3b, right? Then on this term we'll be left with the minus 5p, minus 5p. All right, now we have fully factorized. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna give you a task. I'm gonna give you a task that you need to complete. Gonna give you a task, all right. I'm gonna give you a task, so you just need to complete it. So that will be your homework. I'm gonna give you a link. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna post the link on our Facebook page so that you can complete it between now and tomorrow. There are not many, only some few questions. I think there are around about 10. Yes, there are 10, so only 10 questions. So get ready. So I'm gonna just give me some few minutes. I'm gonna upload it on the site, then give you the link. So make sure that you complete them before our next class. Actually, you should complete them latest by tomorrow, and send us your answers, or you can upload them to our website on caninesi.com. Thank you so much for watching. So we'll continue again next time. We already have a timetable, so you can contact us so that we can give you a timetable so that you can follow along. Thank you so much for watching.